Alright, you guys, welcome back to the pantry, or to my pantry. Anyway, if it's your first time here, I welcome you, and if you're coming back, thank you. I just appreciate it so much. I love all the support. Okay, so tonight I'm going to make my version, and it's just my version. Everybody makes this different, but this is my version of chicken parmesan. Only I'm going to put a twist on it, and I'm making it with chukar. But I want you to remember throughout the recipe to use chicken breast, okay? So you don't get confused. But those of you that are new, my husband is an avid chukar hunter, and chukar is they are a small partridge that we hunt here in Nevada, in the high desert, and they absolutely are so delicious, flavorful. I don't waste any of them. So I'm gonna try, and I haven't done this before, so the only reason I'm doing this is game meat tends to have no fat or very little fat, and so therefore it dries out and it has no fat marbling. So these little guys are running their patooties off through the desert, so they have no fat. And this recipe originally called for boneless, skinless chicken breast, and that's what I normally do with it. So when I created the recipe, I wanted something that would keep the moisture in, and now I'm going to create it to do a wild game dish. So, yada yada yada. I know you're like, okay, shut up. Anyway, now I've got, these are chukar breasts, and I would be using boneless, skinless chicken breast. These are smaller and, of course, more flavorful, but we're going to do the same thing with it. I'm grabbing some gloves, just in case you guys are wondering where'd she go. I'm going to grab some gloves because I have artificial nails, and I don't really want anything under. I mean, I keep my hands and nails impeccably clean, but I don't want any breading or anything underneath my nails. So I'm gonna, especially in a breading station, okay? So what I've got here is melted butter. And now what I'm gonna add to it, and you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but what my creative recipe calls for, big old, that's probably three tablespoons of Dijon mustard. So we're going to put that in there with a half stick of butter, and I'm going to mix that up. See what we got. Sometimes the Dijon cools it down too much. I might have to just heat it up a little bit in the microwave. Yeah. But we're gonna, just kind of whisk it around with a fork. Yeah. And I am gonna heat it a little bit in the microwave, because I can see the butter starting to coagulate, and I don't want that, because that's gonna happen when the meat hits it too. So we'll just put a little bit of heat on that, and maybe even I'm gonna give it 2 more tablespoons of butter. Maybe, no, that's probably a tablespoon and a half of butter, and we're gonna put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Should be good. On a melt, and then yeah. And then we'll come back, and in this dish we have Italian breadcrumbs and about a quarter of a cup or so of Parmigiano Reggiano. And this is the grated, dry, dehydrated, but we love it. I mean, I use it in a lot of things, so I don't stick my nose up at much. A tablespoon of Italian seasoning, And we're going to grab another healthy, tablespoon of garlic, and then a little more thyme. This thyme is so good. I don't know what happened, but that thyme got amazingly delicious. Okay, a healthy pinch of kosher salt and a healthy pinch of cracked black pepper. Now, normally I would not do that with my breading, but I'm going to bet we're going to use almost all of this, so all the flavoring will get in there. So now we've got a little warmth in there. We'll just mix that butter and Dijon mustard together. Okay. It's making my mouth water. I just know how good this is. It's delicious. I put my gloves on so early. I'm sorry. Okay. So we'll set that fork aside. And then, just for visual reasons, is what I'm going to do with that whole station. We'll go over here. We'll switch spots for these guys. And get the breadcrumb mixture all mixed up really, really good. And yeah, I always say sometimes seasoning is, really gets lost in that mixture, but this is the cowboy that brings it home on this recipe, so you really can't do anything different. Okay, so I have a wet hand, dry hand. And before I go any further, I want to make sure I have a spraying hand. So I'm going to spray my foil pan down with some cooking spray, non-stick cooking spray. And then these are chukar breasts. It's a little darker meat than chicken, but it's delicious, and oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite things in the whole world. So I'm going to put that down in the Dijon and butter mixture first, and then we're going to dredge it into the breadcrumb mixture. And it's got breadcrumbs and spices and Parmesan, and then we're going to put it over here on our non-stick surface. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to dredge it in the butter and the Dijon, and then we're going to dredge it into the breadcrumb mixture. And we make sure we get a good coating all around. Yeah, so good. Okay. And then I'm just going to do this until I run out of the wet mixture. If I run out of the wet mixture before I'm done with how many breasts I have, then I'll put those others away. And I'm keeping one dry hand just in case I need it to turn off cameras, whatever. These are all different sizes. So if I was going to do this with chicken, I probably would have taken chicken that I got on sale out of the freezer, boned it and skinned it, and done this with it. Sometimes you can pound this too if you want to. I just don't see a need. I marinated this, and I would marinate the chicken the same way. I marinated this in buttermilk for about, not as long as I would have liked to. I would have liked to have done it for a whole overnight thing, but I did it for about 2 hours. So that buttermilk makes it retain its moisture for some reason, and it's just delicious. It makes the meat so tender. All those milk acids that are in there just get after it. It's amazing. Wow, we have a lot, and I think we're going to get all of them on here. I think this was from 6 Chukar is what he got. He got his, in Nevada they call it a 6-pack of Chukar yesterday, and he isn't home yet tonight. I'm hoping he gets another 6-pack because he was pretty excited. It's gearing down towards the end of the season, and so all of it's good. When you can hit a spot that's really, producing some kind of harvest. It's amazing because these dogs and my husband work so hard to get there. I mean, they hike 10-15 miles. And so, okay, I've got 3 more breast sides left, and I think I'm gonna make it. We're gonna finish this up, and I wish I could turn the camera off because I know you're probably bored right now, but I can't because I can't touch anything because of poultry cross-contamination. I don't want to touch anything. So we're going to finish this up. I got one more in here. I'm going to smear that around in the butter and Dijon. And I know everybody goes Dijon, but you know what? Dijon is great to use for multiple applications of things. I use it and stuff it, and then you go, I don't even taste the mustard. So if you don't like yellow mustard, don't turn your nose up at this, because you could be truly, I think, cutting yourself out of something really delicious. So, okay. This is the last one. I'm going to squeeze it on there. And look how good we planned that. Wow. Okay. I'm going to pull this glove off. And this one. And, woo, we're golden. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off. This is going into a 350-degree oven. And I'm just really going to have to time this differently because it's not chicken. It's not as big a piece of meat. So I'm going to time it a little bit different. But I am going to give you, I'll give you a rundown of what it takes. Okay? I'll be back. Alright, so now I'm going to add to the top of these little cutlets these little chukar breasts, which in your case would probably be chicken breasts that have been breaded, dredged and breaded. Oh my goodness, this is going to be delicious. So I don't want huge gigantic pieces of cheese on little tiny pieces of booby. So we'll put it on appropriate size breast. And probably just take these pieces and put them in half, because mozzarella, oh, we're going to melt that down over it, and then I'm going to serve this on a bed of pasta with a marinara and Parmesan, and you are going to be in heaven. Are you kidding me? This is going to be delicious. So I'm going to put this back in the oven, and actually I'm going to put it in 450 degrees so that melts that cheese really quick and crisp up anything else that needs to be crispy. And the breasts are done. I've already tested them, so we're going to be golden. I want you to replace this with boneless, skinless chicken breast. This is what we use because this is what my husband hunts, and so we have to kind of improvise sometimes. I think it's delicious, and I'm going to put a little bit of this marinara sauce. I've got cooked spaghetti with some Parmesan and olive oil down on that, and then I'm just going to put a little breaded, oh, delicious. Do you hear that? That is beautiful. I don't care who you are, where you live, that's beautiful. Okay, and we're going to have a bite for you. This is more than enough for me, and I'm telling you, it's going to be delicious. Okay, so now I want to kind of zoom you in or something. Let me try. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Sorry for the movement, but we're going to have that with a little bit of more Parm on top. And then we're going to dive into that, and I'll tell you what we got. I hope that you are inspired by this recipe. I hope it inspires you to do something new, try something different. If you have been wanting a new recipe and you can't figure out what to do and you like Italian, this is a great one. You could do this with a pork cutlet. You could do this with chicken breast. You could do it with a veggie patty, for that matter. Really and truly, you can do it any way you want. So I'm just going to cut through this. So I've got cut through the meat. Look how beautiful. It's all white meat, tender. I don't know if I can possibly... Here, we'll do the spaghetti with a little marinara. And then we're going to grab onto the meat, and hopefully it gets in, the whole thing gets in my mouth. Okay. Wow. That is so good. That meat is tender and moist and delicious. I know from experience that this is what happens to the chicken breast. It just becomes amazing. So I hope this inspires you guys to step outside the box. Do something maybe you're not comfortable with, but you've always wanted to try. This is an easy recipe for anybody and everybody to try, to experiment. I mean, there's nothing you can't do with this. So I hope that you come back. I hope you hit thumbs up, and you know what, if you're on Facebook, post it, share it with somebody. Alright, you guys, God bless.